All right, so here's part 2 of transmission replacement. Did 2 separate videos, one on the cylinder 4 cooling mod and another video on the air pump delete. We got all that squared away. Air pump is essentially there's 2 solenoids, one that's in here, one that sits right here, and the air pump in the car sits right there. Spins fresh air inside the exhaust, making a clear combustion. This car is a track use only car. And we don't need that. So yeah, block up plate there. And then we broke a bolt, but you know, track use car don't need anything perfect. We have to put that coolant line back together.
Dude, I was hoping. I didn't see it in there, but then I
This is the alignment tool. I need a cylinder for a cooling mod. Rundown of that is you got a port that goes here, connects to heater core line. That's the gist of it. So now we're gonna install a new clutch in this bad boy here. So we got the eBay special, lightweight flywheel. Let's go.
That's gonna be nice.
And then let's see what we got. What goodies we got here, bro?
Clutch Pro, I think they're called, right?
Throwout bearing? Question mark?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see that. So pilot bearing and
What is the name of this company? Oh, Clutch Max.
Clutch Max.
I
dude.
installed them in my Miata, and it just works really, really well for really cheap. So we're going for it for the Subi. Why not?
That's good. That's good. And throwout bearing. What does this look like? Open it up.
Yeah, it is the throwout bearing.
Sweet. And yeah, they push type, not a pull type. So that makes life 10 times easier as well.
Good stuff.
So, let's get started. Basically, flywheel's going to sit right here. You got 8 bolts for it on your car?
Yes.
8 bolts, okay. We're going to be using thread lock because one of my buddies did this and he put it to a spec, torqued to spec, and one of the bolts came loose. He had to take all the whole apart. So, we'll put a little Loctite on there. It don't hurt.
Red.
Red works. I was going to use blue, but red works too.
Red.
Because it's not coming out. So, let's get started. All right, so every clutch kit that has a flywheel has a pilot bearing. The little guy's got to go right in there because, guys, transmission input shaft, or yeah, rides that. We don't have a press here. Get about yay good and just mail it in. She'll go in. Just might take a few minutes. Okay. Yeah. Try to get a decent video of me doing this. Sometimes there's alignment. I don't see no alignment here. And now we're just gonna see this piece comes in, it's gonna go in there. And then you got your bolts to line up. I'm gonna get one bolt started. Make sure it don't fall out. We're gonna get a Loctite. Ashton Loctite.
Okay, usually these are not the bolts that back out, it's the pressure plate bolts. So, we do the same thing on the pressure plate bolts. Hopefully the clutch feels nice, Ashton. I hope so.
All right, so torque specification is 61 to 69 pounds of torque. 61 to 69. These are 15 millimeter bolts, and you want to get yourself a torquey wrenchy that's pretty reliable. So you can have someone else hold it on the other side, with a harmonic balancer, or you can get a wrench. Anyways. There's that one. Star pattern.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the proper way to do it here. At least for this clutch max, I have 2 bolt holes to the right of this and the line up. So, lovely tool. Voila. You can take it out a couple times, trying to make sure you get it really close to being all the way lined up. That looks really good. Get one going. You need some Loctite in the others.
It's just an organic friction disc with high copper content.
Okay.
Anything super special.
Happens. Tight. Still could be special. So yeah, like we were saying earlier, not too much Loctite. Tiny bit works.
Can you find me a socket for all these? Please follow that. Yep, just wanted a socket and a 3/8 extension. Oh, you have range? Huh? You have range? Yeah, I'm using the one. Let's work at the spec afterwards. Yeah, make sure it's centered.
Alright, we had to go buy a bolt, but that's okay. So, what's up?
Just talking all that.
Oh. Fun.
Just wanted to make sure that's the. Is that a different size? I think that was a 13.
I hope that doesn't throw the weight off.
Should be fine.
I think so. Alright, well, so when doing a clutch, you want to make sure this is centered. I was double checking there a couple times. You can see it's centered. You pull this out, and that looks about centered. So that's good. Now, you're gonna have to go on a star pattern and slowly tighten each of these guys in.
The spring spring. While doing this, it might move it around. You want to double check multiple times. Good force cut for this too. That's a really bad force cut. Done. That's nice. 15 to 22 foot-pounds. Torque weight is 15 to 22 foot-pounds. So, I'm going to keep doing this. No problem.
Alright, see if a friend on the side holding that, that works too, or you can put a wrench in between.
Mix that
a wrench in between somewhere on this and a bolt to hold it in place. So one of these pegs and a bolt and a hold in place. Ready, Ashton?
Yep.
That's clicking. You know, I have an idea, Ashton. You have a 3/8 torque wrench.
That's only at like 250. It's close.
Right?
That's 20.8 foot-pounds.
And what was the spec? 19 and 22?
15 and 22.
Okay. Orange spec.
Yeah.
And we have black pants too. True. Right? Oop.
Alright. Specification. Pull this guy out, double check in there that everything is centered. Look in there, and that is looking great. So now we have some stuff to do with the up pipe. We have to get new gaskets for it, but that's whatever. After that, we should be ready to drop back in the engine after we put the transmission and made it together. So let's wait to make everything. All right, we just ran out to O'Reilly's in AutoZone. Got gaskets. This one's for the mid pipe. This gasket set's for the turbo, and this is for the up pipe. Bottom of the up pipe. So we're gonna put these on right now. Alright, so I just took some of this brake anti-seize grease, lubed up the throwout bearing. Now we're gonna put the clutch fork up in, and we're gonna connect these two guys together. Show you how it's done. Voila. Bro, why did it fall? Just stay there. I'm not even touching you, camera. See? Voila, new throwout bearing in. Nice and looby-doobied up. Or else the throwout bearing will explode. You don't want that. Alright, with the new gaskets we just bought. One goes here, and the one goes up here. These torque specs are probably online. We're just putting them to good and tight. Because they're exhaust, they ain't coming off.
This is true.
Alright, trans ends are mounted together. Make sure all the bolts are going in. You saw how gay that looked when we put it together, but you know what?
Get your minds out the gutter. Oh, does it matter which way this thing goes?
Starter? Oh, that thing was pointing upwards. Alright, we're gonna update here. We were looking at how far our clutch fork was not out. Realized it wasn't pivoting on that ball. So before you get too far, make sure this wiggles back and forth. If not, do the same thing we did. We just unloosened all the bolts, not all the way off, and we took, what was that, pipe wrench, and just lifted upwards. So, and now, is sliding on that ball. As we're connecting stuff, I'm gonna start on the bottom with the trans bolt and the mount. I have all that stuff right there. Also the shifter linkage. Then we hit the CV axles after we have that up. Before that, both of the engine mount bolts. It's only 2 bolts for each of those. And then we hit the CV axles, get all the wheel hubs situated. Start connecting everything up here, all the fluids, radiator and hoses, power steering fluid. Then next you hit your fuel lines, coolant lines, all your wiring. There's just a lot of miscellaneous stuff for this job. It's not that big of a deal, but so many little pieces in it that take forever. So. Okay, so bolt there, 2 bolts in here, 2 nuts in here, 2 nuts in here, and then you got 1, 2, and 1, 2. Should look like this when you're done. I got these 2 bolts and 2 bolts. Shift linkage back there is very important. You have the bolt and nut that connects through the actual shifter, and then you have your bushing here, which is just the nut and the plate. Connects all your wiring, little radiator hose. Then we get our downpipe. Now we're bleeding the clutch here. Reconnected everything. So that's just gonna pump it up. Pumped up enough. You're gonna have someone hold it all the way in. That someone's gonna be Ashton. Hold it all the way in. And you're gonna crack that bleeder loose. Careful, it does squirt. So on these cars, do it nice and easy. Just. And as they're still holding in, you're gonna tighten it, and then you're gonna tell them, pump it back up. Yeah, lovely. Keep pumping, you'll build pressure again. All right, Morice here.
I have many names that I go by.
Antonio Martinez, Morice, Ashton, Wolf King. He's got now a lot of names. Basically, all the top downpipe bolts. I got everything on the underbody, transmission bolts, and more transmission bolts.
Don't forget the transmission bolts.
Oh, yep, transmission bolts.
Wait, did you forget the transmission bolts?
Nah, bro, the transmission bolts. Anyways, we're gonna put the air intake on, intercooler, PCV system, the top part, and bleed all the fluids. All right, so connected our fuel lines, all our charge piping. We're just getting the PCV system kind of sorted out here. A little crusty, rusty, so we just sanded it. We as in him.
It's on.
It's on.
Just like that.
So, once we get that on, we're gonna bleed our cooling system. We fill it up with oil and manual transmission fluid, put our new air filter on, start it up, and let it burp.
You recorded.
All right, so we got some concentrated antifreeze here and distilled water. You know it's distilled because the way it tastes. Tastes good. Can I have some, bro?
Here you go.
some more water, bro.
I'm not wasting it. It's actually really, really good. I'm really thirsty.
I do this. Okay. So, Ashton's gonna a little bit. You know, it works when you got two people.
Okay, wait. It's going everywhere.
This machine is really nice because it lets you burp the system with it open, and it always has enough fluid. You want to have a good mix between antifreeze and water when you do it yourself.
50% antifreeze, 50% water.
It'll take like 27 years for us to get to the bottom.
How many?
50, 60.
Bueno.
Bro, that water looks so yummy.
Looks so bad, dude. That's water so bad. No balls. $5.
I don't know if you would have said yes to that one.
Hey, well.
Maybe.
Rest in peace, Deegan, bro. What a good guy. If I would give him $5, he would do anything in the world.
That sounds really sauce.
Oh, okay. I'm talking like cars. Like, for example, I gave him $5. He ate some dog treats and threw up. I gave him $5, went into a random store, and I gave him a potted plant base, and he just threw it across the store.
What a guy.
Do $5 for anything for $5. Keep your minds out of the gutter. But anything for $5.
This is true. Give me some more, bro.
Oh,
Is it coming?
it's coming out.
Bro, why are you doing so fast? Alright, do I have all the fluids in the car? Yes. Everything hooked up? Yes.
How's that?
Alright. Had to reset some of the engine mount. Everything is ready.
Making my stew.
Your stew.
Not making now. Good stuff.
Oil's in the car, coolant's in the car. Let everything burp. Oh, one last vacuum hose to connect to. That would be an issue. Alright, so we encountered a bit of an oiling issue. It is all over the wall here. It ended up being the valve cover gasket we used is no bueno.
Or I put it in wrong. Who knows? The other one's just fine. The one on the Miatas was fine. Same brand.
I don't know, dude. But, yeah, something ain't right. But everything else works great. Just the oiling issue on the side. So we're going to take care of that, but that is how you swap out the transmission.
Just don't cheap out with your valve cover gaskets like me. They weren't cheap. They're like $27. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, there it is.